Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Evenda and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this growl sound. So this is kind of like the old school Skrillex Zomboy growl sound, and it's pretty simple to make. So we're going to do this all inside of Serum. So let's get to it, huh? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a fresh instance of Serum on a new MIDI track. And we're just going to initialize it so that we have our normal settings. You'll notice mine are a little bit different than most people's, but if at any point in the video it's different, I'll try and mention it, and if not, just make sure that you pause the video and that your settings are the same. Shouldn't be huge, but I know people have problems with that on other videos. So first thing we're going to do after we initialize the patch, we're going to come over to this global tab and we're going to double click for typeable values on controls. And that's going to make things a little bit easier throughout the video, as well as when we go into our matrix here. So now that we've got our global set up, we're going to go into our wavetables, and we're going to grab the Scary Face wavetable from my Halloween Wavetables pack. It's a free pack. It's available for download on my website. You can follow the link in the description to grab it. The pack also comes with this entire preset already made. So you can just jump in and grab that and be good to go, or you can stick around and learn how to make it and why I did some of the things I did. So now that we've got our oscillator A loaded up, we're going to adjust the wavetable position to around 70, and we're just going to give that a listen. So 70, 73 is about where we want to be for oscillator A, and we're going to go ahead and turn bend plus on in our warp modes, and you can hear that kind of gives it that vowel-y, vocal-y kind of effect. And we're going to just drop LFO 1 onto our warp there. We're going to set it to like just under 50. Sounds super cool, right? So we're going to need to adjust LFO 1. So go ahead and make sure it's on trigger mode and set the rate to a bar, and then we're going to grab this top node here and we're just going to slide that over so it's a quarter way through the LFO, and we'll get this sound. Fascinating. So we're going to need to drop LFO 1 onto our wavetable position. We're just going to modulate it a little bit because we just want to move up and down this mouth here. Alright, that sounds good. Well, for where we're going, it sounds good. So now we're going to activate our filter, and we're going to grab the normal high 12 filter, and we're going to make sure A and B are both selected because we'll be using oscillator B in a bit. And what this is going to do is it's going to give it that kind of vowel-y, vocal-y sound. So if I just kind of mess with it while I play, gives it that stereotypical kind of dubstep, bro step, vowel-y growl kind of sound. So again, we're going to use LFO 1, and we're just going to move the cutoff until it sounds about right. So we'll set the cutoff to around 80, and then I just want a little bit there, and then everything else is fine. We'll move on now to our effects section, and we'll just go in order here with the hyper dimension. We'll turn the mix down to like 25. Okay, that sounds decent to me. And then in the dimension section, we'll turn the mix all the way up, and we're going to drop the size down to between like 4 and 8. 5 sounds good for me. And then we'll do some distortion. Or I'm sorry, we're going to do phaser and then distortion. So we'll do our phaser here. And this is going to add some vowelliness to the sound. So we're going to drop the depth down and get rid of those weird stereo artifacts. So we'll drop it down to 10%, and then we'll change the feedback to like 30, 35. And then the big thing with the phaser is to get the frequency right. So with most sounds, you could just kind of like earball it. I think 36 Hertz sounds about right. And now at this point, I'm going to switch octaves on my keyboard so that now we're playing an octave lower than what we were. Before it sounded like trash, but now at the lower octave we're starting to get some more kind kind of like grittiness and growliness, so I'm going to be using just an octave down for the rest of the video. And a big part of the sound is the sine fold over here. Set at about 12%, and again we're going to grab LFO1 and we're just going to modulate this so slightly. Drop it down just a little bit, probably 10%. Then we'll bump it up to 3. Okay, so now we're getting that grittiness, that growl sound. This distortion mode is super touchy, but it gives a really unique, cool sound that I love. And then we're going to grab the multi-band compressor and throw that on top, so make sure the multi-band mode is selected. That's going to kind of even out our frequencies. It's used a lot in like EDM, especially dubstep, bro-step kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people run multiple instances of OTT. If you're in Ableton, you can grab the multi-band dynamics OTT preset, set it about 40% and run a couple of instances of it, and you get really cool meaty sounds like that, as well as like EQ saturation and stuff. There's also a plugin called OTT from X for Records. Very good plugin, so if you're not in Ableton you can use that. Anyways, back to the sound. We're going to add an EQ after our multi-band compressor, and we're just going to boost the high end a little bit to get some sizzle. We're going to make sure high shelf is selected. Okay, it's nice and sizzly, and we're just drop the Q down so it's a nice smooth transition. Drop the gain down a little bit, and then the low end is lacking just a little bit, so we're going to turn on the bell, and we're going to turn the gain up to about 8-9 dB, and we're going to drop the Q so it's a little bit wide. And that just fills out the sound so nicely. We're going to drop the frequency. Whoa. So I have it set about 140 and 25 for the LFO movement. We're getting that nice vocally, vowely dubstep growl sound now. The EQs really add some movement to the sound. I love automating and modulating the EQ. So now we're going to come into oscillator B, because we're really missing some of those upper mid frequencies. So we're going to use the same wave table as before, the Halloween Wavetables Scary Face, except this time we'll turn off oscillator A, and we're just going to bump this up until you can barely hear it. So like right about, just under 40, you can kind of see this spike appear. And that's what we want, because we just want the edge of that frequency, and then we're going to automate it so it sweeps up the spile again. And you can hear it's got a lot more high end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my effects section. I'm going to turn the gain down on my multi-band compressor. And you don't want to be clipping out of Serum. And then, since this is supposed to be kind of upper mid highs, I'm going to turn on the mirror mode. And that gives it like a really unique sound, especially on basses. And I'm actually just going to leave it at 0% for now. But I am going to turn back on oscillator A and let you hear the difference. So we go from that to this. So it's filled out a lot more. And then the last thing we're going to do is probably the biggest, and that's going to be turning LFO1 on in the source under the Matrix tab. And then we're going to change the destination to the global master tuning. We're going to double click and we're going to use 12 ST. And that's 12 semitones of movement. And then I'm going to change the type to unidirectional, and that gives us this. So without. So it creates that kind of huge growl sound that gives it a lot of energy and movement. And then, as you'll see in the preset, if you download it, what I've done is I've mapped like all the macros so that I can start changing the tones of things. And what I'll do is I'll go through a track when I'm using this preset, and I will like automate the mirror and the wavetable positions just slightly to a macro to give it more interesting movement and things like that. But this is a really good preset for starting out. And if you wanted to fill out the sound a little bit more, you turn your sub on, drop it down an octave, and you get the nice sub direct out. And then what I also like doing is playing with the mono legato, and instead of just playing one note like the F, what I'll do is I'll play like an F and then maybe like the fifth, or like an octave higher, and you can really like get crazy pitch bends that you normally wouldn't get. So that's about it for this sound. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like or a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what I could have done differently, or what you enjoyed, what you learned, all that fun stuff. Again, if you want these wave shapes, which also come in a variety of other fun shapes and sizes, you can download them for free on the free downloads tab of my website, evendamusic.com. It's in the description. You'll find a link. They're just kind of fun. You can create some cool sounds with them. Also, I have a new free pack coming out called Scary Monsters. It's a bunch of throwback kind of like bro step, dubstep sounds. Really cool. This sound's also included in that pack as it was originally made. Like I was going for that Zomboy kind of sound. So be sure to look out for that. I'll put the link in the description below once it's released. Yeah, so if you're looking for more videos, feel free to subscribe. I'll be posting weekly. Other than that, have a good one, guys. Take care.